Good morning, y'all. I'm putting up 20 pounds of hamburger meat today. Anyway, I got this for $2.28 a pound. It's the cheaper one. It's 80%. It's still good meat though. And you'd only have to brown a little bit. I got to turn it already. When you're canning hamburger meat, you just need to get all that pink done. Get this kind of browned up. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be, I'm doing it quart jaw for 90 minutes. So, you're going to be processing it 90 minutes. So, it is going to be done. I've never had a problem with my meat. Let me get a jar and show you. Two ways you can do it. This one I didn't rinse. See, it's got that on there. Okay, this one I rinsed. See, it has less on there. It only has a little dab in there. Okay, but this one also is in beef broth. And this would be more like for tacos and stuff. And this one would be more like for soups and stuff like that. But always take this fat off when you go to use it. But you can use the liquid out of it. There is liquid in there. I don't know if you can tell. Can't really tell, but there is some liquid in there. I prefer the taste over this one with the beef broth than just this. This is okay. If you're going to do it this way, salt your meat just a little bit. If you're going to do it this way, I just add just a quarter teaspoon, no more than a quarter teaspoon of salt, because you don't know what you're going to be putting it in. Now today I'm going to be canning it. I'm going to rinse it so I don't have this on there. And then I'm going to put beef broth in it. That's how I'm going to can it today. This meat is about ready. It's still a little pink in places. That's okay. Remember, it's going to cook 90 minutes when you pressure can it. And this needs a little longer. Y'all use filtered water and rinse this meat because it's got quite a bit of, although I drained it, I used cold water, so this comes to the top. Let me show you. Turn that off. Alright, we want to scoop that out. Let me get my tools. I got it. Here. Okay, here. We're going to do this. Okay. Scoop that off. That's ice cold water. It's good to do it this time of year. You're being recorded. Okay, we're going to scoop all that off we can. See, I've got my another bowl ready over here to pull this out. It's in the colander. Pull that out, set it over here. Pull this out. I'm going to rinse it one more time. You can save this water right here. See that right there? I'm not going to. Just going to dump it. This is pretty greasy because this was $80. This was $2.28. But you want to use cold water on this when you rinse, so you can bring the fat to the surface. Skim some of this, a lot of it, and then when you pick this up, you're going to have a lot left in your colander. This is a colander, and I'm going to pick it up and stick it over here to drain. Shake that water to drain, and then I'm going to put it in this pot. Now see how big my pieces are? You want to leave them big. You don't want to break them up at this point until your final rinse. I rinse them twice. Then, after strain, put them in here and then chop your meat up. Don't break down your meat until you get to that point. Now this, and what's in the sink is 10 pounds. Here's 10 more pounds. Yes, I bought 2 of them. $2.28 a pound. I couldn't resist. So this was $21.43. Let's see if it says, well, it says 9.5 40 right there. Okay, so approximately 10 pounds. And I didn't have room to store this, so you check the temperature when you're going shopping, and we shop later in the evening when the temperature dropped before we bought these. Then when we come home, I have an outside bin, just a plastic bin, that I put 2 of these in, because it got down 30 something last night. It's cold enough, your meat won't run, you still see it's pretty, and then get up early enough to do this. And then I got some pork chops that I'll cook up. So those of you that do not have refrigerator, freezer space, that's what you do. Shop in the evening, get your meat when it's cool outside, cool at night, then you can can it the next day. So that's another little tip to help y'all prepare for food storage. Now make sure you get up and don't forget about it and get it canned. I gotta cook all this. It takes about 3 pans. Cook all that. One more tip. When you cut this, you see how I cut it with a knife? It's because it will split it in half. Then you're going to take that half right there, put it in your pan, and that's about the depth you need. And you take the other side, put it in there, smash it down a little bit, and go all the way around your pan. Now keep your bowls wiped out. You see how thick and greasy that is? We're going to try to keep that out of your canning. Just wipe it out with a paper towel, and then I'm going to rinse it for the final rinse. Only use filtered water, y'all. See my filter? Only use filtered water. I turn it off because it... Okay, now I want to show you something. See all that build up? You want to wipe all that down before you pour that through again. But also you're going to skim it. Yeah, the 80 gives a lot of grease. If you can get the 90, it's better. But at $2.28 a pound, I decided to try this. Even though last time I did rinse a little bit, it was the 90%. I'll show you. This was the 90% that I did, but I did rinse it a little bit. But this was the 80%, even though it was sort of rinsed right quick, still had a head up here. That is not really too bad. And I will be adding beef broth to this one. So you want to fry it in chunks. Don't break it up at this point. You want it to look like that, all rinsed. Get that off there. And take a paper towel and wipe this off. And my hot water tank is set on boil. Cut down on grease, y'all. Do it like this. Drop it in your water. Just look at all that grease you're going to be running through there. See? And we'll stop the cooking process too. And only use filtered water. If y'all don't have one of these little filters, then you'll have to bring your Berkey water or whatever, however you can filter it. Just don't put tap water in your food. And pour that out. We don't need it. Just pour it in my trash can because I left it full so I can put it on top of all my grease rags. Paper towel rags. So I can clean that out and get me another batch started. Got this much more of the 20 pounds to cook. That'll go in another skillet. Now this is ready. I'm taking this out. This is the last of the cooking. And see, that is 10 pounds. And when I put that last in there, that'll be 10 pounds. That's 20 pounds. And see my jars? It's going to take about 14 jars and I've got them sanitized already. They're already cooled down because I did them last night. And I'll take these out and I'll put them over here on my freezer and fill them full of meat and fill them full of broth, and then we'll can them. We got our canner set up, no fire on it. We're going to fire it all up together. We got water in there. You put your finger in that hole right here. And it's only knuckle high. I want it a little higher because this is quarts, and it's going to go 90 minutes. Let's see how high that should be enough. Oh yeah, it's up to, it's past my knuckle. Okay, that's plenty. Alright, so we got that done, and that's filtered water, y'all. Always filter. Okay, now over here what I got is, this is 32 ounce box of broth, and it's Kendall Farms, and it doesn't taste salty or anything because it says no added MSG or gluten, and it's gluten free. So I added a tablespoon of Himalayan salt, stirred up, and I added equal parts of water, filtered water. Okay, so we got that done. Go to the other side. And I have more. I'll have to mix up more. But the meat that I got, 20 pounds of meat should do 14 jars. Let's see. I've broken this meat up by hand. Doesn't have to be real tiny. You can do it as big or small as you want. And then we're going to put it in our jars. I'm not sure if I think I'm just going to use my hand. And I'm only going to fill this about 3/4 full because I think last time I did it in quart jars, it did, okay, let's see. Is that 3/4 full? About. Now if I drop some, I got this tin where I don't waste it. And then we're going to fill it up to the 1-inch headspace with this broth. And it's 50-50 broth and water, filtered water. That broth's going to go fast. I have 5 boxes, hoping I have enough. See how that looks. It's about right. Okay, I gotta get another one. I gotta be careful not to get that greasy. I'll be back when I get them all filled. We are simmering our lids, and we did put distilled water in our canner. When I do use the ball mason jars, the lids, and even though they say you don't have to simmer them, I do, because this is greasy food and you want to make sure you get a good seal on them. Had y'all heard that story about the lady that we had to put vinegar on top of that? We'll do it before we put our seals on. Did you hear about the grandma that gave her grandchildren pickles and they were found in... Now, they surmised, they did an autopsy, and that's what they say that happened. But there's a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old kid there, all alone. And they were even sleeping with their parents that had been dead for some times, because the little girl said her dad had turned black. Anyway, it's a terrible story. My glove wasn't working. I took that off. Decided just put a little bit more. I'm hoping this will come out right. Now I'm going to put my broth in there. I can't pour that. I have to scoop it. I need 2 hands. Up to 1 inch headspace. That's up to the rim. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be close. That hamburger meat will soak that up. Okay, see how dirty we got that? Those rims have to be cleaned with vinegar. Alright, let's keep going. Next step, we debubble with our debubbler, and it's a magnet on the other end. I like this slim tool. Okay, well, I see bubble rising, so yeah, we want to push out all the air. Okay, we'll be back after we do all 14. The next step is we have to use vinegar, and I use a paper towel. Dip this in vinegar. I squeeze out the excess. I don't want it in my meat. But I pretty well get it pretty wet because this is meat. And I want to get that jar pretty clean. See, I've got a lot of boobies on there. But I go kind of inside too. I want to make sure that seal is... And I already checked my jars for chips. You should always check your jars for chips, because you're not going to get a good seal. So I want to make sure that I'm... See, I use these half paper towels, and I break them down into just smaller pieces. Because when I'm doing this, I like to be careful. And then the next step after that, I got my... see, these are simmering, and you're going to get a lid like that. You're going to set that on there. And then we're going to put the band on it. Hang on. When you put your lid on, I just put it on straight. Make sure it finger tight. Like, that means whenever it stops. I'm not forcing it. I'm just finger tight. Okay, last one to go in. 7 quarts. I gotta put the lid on. We got our lid on. We're gonna turn on the fire on high. We're gonna get this thing to get up to steam. Right there, that steamer. When it starts full steam, then we have to set it for 10 minutes, let it vent for 10 minutes before we put our weight on. And then after the weight goes on, this will be popped up. That means it'll be locked. And this will be up to 10 pounds, my altitude. Now, 20 pounds did 14 quarts. So it's 5 pounds does 7 quarts of meat. Okay, let's look over here. I hadn't got the lids on these yet, because I still got to clean them and put the bands on. But I started tearing these in half, my little squares, because I only use one of that per jar, because I don't want any oil transfer onto my other one, because this hamburger is real greasy, so I got to be careful. Don't want to poison myself. This is the second batch we done. This batch is done. Still bubbling. And this has already been 10 minutes, and then we drop the weight on there, and then it's got to go 90 minutes. So it's up to 10. Set the timer. Time 90, because they are quarts. Start. It's not, okay, see it's not going. Hit start again. And you make sure before you walk off. And then it's going over 10, so we're going to get down here and we're going to adjust our fire down low. And I know about right where to put it. Alright, and we're going to leave it for 90 minutes. And after 90 minutes, you just turn the fire off, leave everything alone, do not remove that, and you wait 45 minutes, and then you can remove the lid, the weight in the lid, because that'll be down, your pressure gauge, this will be down, Then you can pull your jars out. Okay, bye. That's it. Okay, what do you want? What do you want? Hey? No, Cena. We're not going out. No. Nobody's out there to babysit you. You don't have a babysitter. You don't have a babysitter. Yeah. Okay. Say bye. Bye, YouTube. Bye.